Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another review for the most recently released volume of the Walking Dead comic book series in trade form, so our 6-issue form collection, so to speak. This one is for Life and Death. Alright, so spoiler warning for this one. This trade is absolutely crazy. I just got it. Was released a little while ago, but got backed up and didn't get a chance to actually, buy it and then, go through it again and do a review for you guys up until now. Volume 25 is not out yet. That should be out. I think it's in a month or two, somewhere around there, like a little while. So this one is a big trade, really, really big one, because this one contains almost more character deaths than I think any other trade by itself. It might contain the most, even though some of the characters we don't really know that well. So major spoiler warning for the comic book series, and also kind of for the television series if you don't want to know who will be killed way in the future. Now this is way far down the line for people that are watching that just watched the television series. This one would be like a season, like 13, 14, 15, something like that. This is way down after a time skip and everything. So you can see the cover here, orange. I love, as always, how they change the covers of The Walking Dead, and they have different color schemes and how the zombies across the bottom all fit together. So Life and Death. The picture on the cover we have of the kind of market festival that they had going in Alexandria, where they had the joint communities all kind of get together, contribute, and just have everybody kind of have a good time. The inside cover we have, that's exactly what they're doing there. People just kind of greeting, maybe buying stuff from each other, getting food, this kind of stuff, having some drinks, just having some fun. So this one is, we have seen the Whisperers for a little while. This one is placed in the comic book series right after, basically, Carl goes after Lydia, who is now with the Whisperers again. She's been kind of taken back. Maggie has given her back over to the Whisperers, which is Alpha, the leader of the Whisperers' daughter, Lydia. And he has grown attached to her. He has feelings for her, so Carl goes after her. It starts off with some zombies, and you have Ezekiel. He's actually killing some, which is really cool that at the beginning of the trade, I never put it together when I read the issue, when you just see Ezekiel killing some random zombies, that he might be the one that would be killed off later on. I never put that together. And it does focus on some of the characters in this one that later on, that maybe kind of your C-list characters, B-list characters, focuses on them a little bit more than usual, gives them some lines, and then later on, you see them killed off at the end, which is really, really brutal. Which, if you guys remember, this was at Comic-Con. This one came out when the issue came out at the end, where you just have like a massive amount of deaths, which we'll get to, just heads on spikes type of deal from what the Whisperers and Alpha did. So this one is kind of hard to review because, getting attached to some of these characters, reading them over the years, and then just seeing them get absolutely smoked. So you've got Carl. He goes after Alpha right here, and he's badass as always. He's not scared of anything as always. And she lets him know that he really isn't in any position to give orders, because she could, even if he kills her, then all of the Whisperers will kill him. We have Michonne, who comes back from fishing, because after a time skip, she becomes, she almost looks like a pirate. She looks like a pirate. It's funny. But she goes out, she goes fishing, and she's kind of leading an expedition to do so. As she comes back, you've got Rick waiting there for her, because, of course, I don't think Rick has seen her that much, and, over the time skip and everything. And so he wants to kind of just chat with her and see her. And then you've got Ezekiel, who, of course, him and Michonne were in a relationship before. And we find out in this part that over the time skip, they have basically grown apart, and Michonne can't forgive herself for the things that she's done, her abandoning her children and the different things that she's done, and she doesn't feel like she deserves to be able to, to survive and live on when all these other characters have been killed off, which is, it makes sense. It makes sense, but it's all in the way, your perspective, and the way you choose to view things. She chooses to view it that way, and she's not wrong. I'd say she's right about that. But if you go with kind of the Darwinian approach, the strong survive, she's about one of the strongest survivors there is. And so thus she survives. So Ezekiel has her sword, which is pretty cool. And, we really get the sense that the two of them, like Ezekiel really cares for her a lot, and she doesn't seem to care for him at first, but we can clearly tell that she does. It's just she won't allow herself to be happy and to be in a relationship and to be in that state. We have the leftover what happens with Gregory at the hilltop, and basically him trying to poison Maggie, and Maggie has him hung, which is pretty crazy. Then we have the first look at the Whisperers camp, which is really cool. So you get to see all the different, Whisperers here. You've got some cows, you've got some skins, and it's basically just like savages, pretty much. Like back in the day, you talk like Game of Thrones and stuff. We're talking like not even farm, like just savages, just out in the woods, surviving on the land, living on the land type of deal. So let's see. We have after that Maggie, and we got Negan, who I never realized, but in the comic books, but Negan actually flashes Andrea, which is funny. She says, okay, wrap it up, put this animal back in the cage. At least that's the way I read it, because he's like sitting there, he's like this, and he's like that, and then she's like, okay, wrap it up. What do you mean by wrap it up? Wrap the towel, or that's funny. At least that's kind of the fill-in that when I went over it the second time, I kind of realized that. So they leave the prison open accidentally. Olivia does, and then later on, of course. We know what happens with that because we've seen that a while ago, that Negan does not escape. We see Dwight. He looks just like Daryl, as I said before in my review of the individual issue. And you've got Negan there, has a conversation with Rick, which, again, we've gone over, so I won't go over it too much in this one. We have Eugene, or Rosita. She's announcing that her and Eugene are having a baby, which is really cool. And again, just like with Ezekiel, something that comes up prior, and then later on you see what happens. So Maggie hangs Gregory, which is a crazy splash page. I remember when that occurred. That one's crazy, man. And let's see what else we got here. So we got some more stuff with the Whisperers. You got the market, so they're having a good time. Everybody's celebrating. And let's see. Then we get to pretty much the big conclusion of it, where Rick finds out about what happened with Carl, and he goes after him to see the Whisperers. I love this page right here, where one of the Whisperers walks out, catches him by surprise, and says, "Your son is quite a handful." If that dude tells you your son is a handful, then, your son is a handful. So that's pretty funny. I just like that a lot. And it also fits in perfectly with the Whisperers, where they kind of pop up out of nowhere. And you see Carl, and he's just losing his shit, just screaming and stuff like this. And then Rick shows up and sees him. So we have Rick in that, and he's got a great line here where he says, "This world is my father, and I've got its looks." Carl, he's all pissed off. He's raging. He's got some serious issues, man. So, he's about half dead as it is, and it's still kicking, though. You've got Alpha, who shows Rick her zombie legion, Oh, my God, crazy. I thought these were Whisperers at first, but then I saw in the letter hacks afterwards in that issue that no, they're not. There's just so many. There's going to be like 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 or something like that in there. You have to count them. It's crazy. And then he comes back, and basically she allows him to leave, but then as he's leaving, he sees the border, which they marked, where Alpha and the Whisperers have killed many of the people, 12, I believe, or 13. 13, people there, and put their heads mounted on spikes. Oh, man. So I remember reading that. That was crazy. You get to see all the different heads. It's just... Oh, God. So, major spoilers. We got Olivia here. We've got a character named Josh, who I don't really know. Someone's brother, Tammy. Crazy. A couple other characters, Aaron, Ken, Amber, and then we get into the bigger ones, and you've got Rosita, and then the biggest one, which is Ezekiel, which is absolutely brutal, man. That one's crazy. So, same with the Eugene Rosita thing before. You see Ezekiel earlier on in the trade, and then you see him at the end, which is really a sad one. And you actually do have Michonne in the back, who actually is crying. She can't deny that she did have feelings for him, even though she didn't want to allow herself to be with him. Then Andrea asks, "What do we do now?" That's to be continued. So, man, this one is kind of morbid in some ways to read. It's a difficult read, and I'm prone to shock value. Like I'm used to it at this point. But even that was something more shocking and crazier than we've seen almost in the whole series. Like the three. Well, really, it's three main deaths, three main characters if you count Olivia, and then the others as well too. And yeah, it's just oh my God. Oof. it's a big one. So so Life and Death. In terms of score, I would give this one a 9 out of 10. It's got some really good dialogue from Michonne. If you like Michonne, give you some kind of background about how she's feeling way later on the zombie apocalypse. Got the final part of Ezekiel, of course, final part of Gregory, final part of Rosita, which is a huge one too. And Eugene and hers, well, not really their child, but, you get the idea. He was going to raise it. So, so wow, it's just, it's a crazy one, and it sets up Alpha and the Whisperers. Alpha is maybe the biggest villain in the series. We'll see if she ever surpasses Negan. To me, I don't think she ever can because of the type of personality she has. She's just not as much fun as Negan, but she's definitely scary as hell. And, wow, yeah, this one's tough to read at the end, for sure, man. Really, really sad. So there's my review for all of the Walking Dead comic book series in trade form so far. This is the way I like to read them. This is the way I like to collect them. Single issues are kind of too scattered. Compendiums for me are too bulky. So I like the trades, but that's just my preference. So anyway, crazy trade, man. Life and Death, insane. Going to give this one a 9 out of 10. Just crazy. Anyway, if you guys have read this one, write your comments below on what you think about it. Definitely that part at the end there has to be, this right here has to be one of the most shocking parts in the entire series. Definitely quite a shocking splash page. So there it is. Let me know what you guys thought about this one, and of course, when Volume 25 is released, I'll do a review for that as well too. You can write your comments below, guys. If you like the video, you know what to do. Please thumb it up. Please do. Don't forget to thumb up. It helps me out. You can share. You can favorite. And if you're new and you want to see more Walking Dead related stuff from me, of course, all kinds of Walking Dead stuff, television series, comic book series, maybe video games. I'm thinking about it for this year. Maybe I could have time for that new Michonne game because I kind of want to see Michonne's story. So I'll think about that. And subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you again real soon. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace.